behind, man. That's the oldest damn music from 2 years ago. Man, if Charles is going, I know, dude, man. You're looking live at the Auto Club Speedway, and after a grueling almost 19 weeks of racing, we now prepare for what is the race for the playoffs. Qualifying is ongoing right now. We welcome you to coverage of the Northwest Racing Series playoffs of 2022. The first race, round one for the Cup cars tonight at Auto Club Speedway. Welcome. I am Wesley Outland. We're on your voyage along the way is joined with Justin Prince, my good friend up in Canada. Justin, it's the playoffs. This is what a lot of people call the second season, but to be able to hoist the cup at the next 9 weeks, you've got to be on your A game perfectly. Tonight is an awesome track to start at Auto Club Speedway, my friend.
The pressure is on, to say the very least, if you want to be able to win a championship. And the main question mark for some drivers, can they keep up the performances? For others, can they step it up that extra bit if they want to become a champion? And this is going to be a pressure-filled postseason, to say the very least, to be able to make your way through the rounds and be able to get a chance to become a champion in the Northwest.
There are 12 drivers that have earned the right after the regular season to put themselves in the qualifying run for a championship of the playoffs. That includes Lake Peterson, the man with 9 wins this year. 5 wins for Cole Raz. They're 1-2 on the year. 4 wins for Caden Anderson, who we call Super Friends. Also, Sean Brightsman with a couple of wins, joining Dan West Jr. And then you've got drivers from 6th on to the top 12 that made the playoffs by virtue of being consistent top 5s, consistent top 10s, Justin. Guys like Aaron Cooper, Brian Barnes, Christopher White, Briar Reynolds, Kevin Smith, Kenneth Garber, and Jeff Stabnow. Though without wins, they are getting a chance to race for a championship.
Yes, the main thing's going to be, can they break through in the playoffs, and can they find their way to victory lane? Because it might come down to it in a couple of these cases to make sure you don't get eliminated. With how some of the drivers have had their seasons go, it's not an easy opening round, mind you, Wesley. You have Auto Club, the Charlotte, Roval, Iowa, Kentucky to deal with. Those are not easy tracks for the schedule.
No, they're not. And as we see now, drivers like Stephen Paulison and Brian Barnes, obviously he is one of the drivers that is in the playoffs that is running for a championship. But for everyone else, man, you're going to be on the outside looking in. And here's the thing, Justin, it's just like the Cup Series with Eric Jones winning at Darlington 2 weeks ago. And then, of course, Bubba Wallace winning at Kansas yesterday in round 2 of the playoffs for the Cup Series. You know, you might have these 12 drivers that are racing for a championship. However, you've got another plethora of 20 plus that are also looking to just try to find a win. And
there are several drivers that might be in that category when it comes to trying to be spoilers, so to speak, when it comes to breaking through the victory lane as a non-playoff driver. Drivers like Ryan Bloom, who was so close last time out to making it to the postseason at the final race of the regular season, just couldn't get the job done. You have other drivers in the field tonight, at least on the entry mark, like Justin Yee, with a lot to prove. There's so much that goes into the types of races we see throughout the campaign. The question mark is going to be, who's going to be able to get it done at a track like Auto Club? That's the major thing, because this track can have so many different strategies, but also bring out the best of the best drivers with how this race surface can be.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As we watch now, Jeff Stabnow, number 12 seed in the playoffs, the driver out of Billings, Montana. We will see what he can do here as qualifying is going on track right now. Now, this is qualifying 2 miles, Auto Club Speedway. Justin, this is a very unique racetrack. I think it's very fitting that this is the opening round, if you will, for the playoffs. Such a unique racetrack, and it should be very, very intense to see what this competition provides.
It should provide some great multi-groove racing as well. Under the lights at Auto Club, the tempers could flare, and in turn, with the cool track conditions, the speeds will fly as we get ready for your starting grid.
And we are ready for the playoffs. Round number one, let's give you your starting lineup on the pole. Fast qualifier with a 42.64. Shelton Washington, Dan West Jr., 2 wins on the year. He is in the playoffs. And the man of the number 1 seed, 9 wins in the year. For car number 9, Lake Peterson, row number 1. Row 2 will find Brian Reynolds and Cole Raz, another playoff contender. Row 3 will find Caden Anderson in the playoffs. Toby Ritter's out, but he has been strong as of late in the Thunder Road Clifford entry. Kevin Smith will start 7th and Stephen O'Hare 8th in the number 41. And to round out your top 10, last year's champion Chris White ready to go alongside the 99 Haviland of Troy Daggett.
Chad Malik will start in 11th tonight with a 44.52 in qualifying. Stephen Paulison starts in the 12th spot alongside. Jaden Ledbetter starts in 13th spot in the 36 car, while BJ Duval starts in 14th, the Outlap Boss. Looking for some good luck here. The Catman, James Vining, starts in 15th in the 333. Chris Camary, 16th starting spot. Brett Johnson starts in 17th tonight in the car 7. Car 71, Aaron Cooper in 18th. Frank Harris in a deep starting spot for Justin Yee in the 64 and 20th.
Row number 11 will find Carl Burke in the 53 to the outside, the number 12 seed of the playoffs this year, and a former winner and champion of Jeff Stabnow in 24. Row number 12 will find Brian Barnes, another playoff contender. Casey Garber just missing the opportunity to make the truck playoffs, but he is in the Cup Series playoffs. He'll start in the number 24 position. Rowing on to the next row, it'll find Sean Breitzman. He'll start 25th. John Audenbacher also, row 13. Row 14, Dan Lowther, along with William Fletcher, BJ Tidrick, and Ron Hunter round out your top 30. Rest of the lineup includes... That's it, 30 cars. There you go. All right, I thought maybe we had a couple more entries, but I think they have bailed out. So there is your starting lineup for 200 and... I'd say it's with 200 miles, 100 laps around the, of course, Auto Club Speedway. And again, as we hit it on earlier before the drop of the green flag, Justin, this is a very unique racetrack. You think of the word precision banking. You think of also the opportunities for drivers to go 3, 4, 5 wide. You see the lines on the pavement down the back straightaway at Auto Club. They can take advantage of that and use every inch of the property.
14 degrees to banking in the corners. Multiple different lines drivers like to take here at this facility. Keep in mind with those seams, it's very easy for drivers to snap around here at this facility. It's not an easy track for tire management either. Keep an eye on drivers getting tight off of turn 4 as the night progresses.
Multiple grooves, precision banking, and one thing for certain, it's playoff time. Ready to go to decide who will race for a championship out of turn number 4. They come to the Geico restart zone for the official start here at Auto Club Speedway. Green flag goes in the air. Dan West Jr. on the inside, Peterson on the outside, and they'll send them 2 by 2 by 2. This race is underway. A century grind around Auto Club. They'll send it off just into turn number 1.
Dan West Jr. launches it through 1 and 2 to hold on to the race lead off the back straightaway. Down the straightaway they go. Lake Peterson lines up behind the 55. Likes to stay behind. Cole Raz up to 3rd. Brian Reynolds not able to find some space though in the line. Side by side with Caden Anderson for the battle for 4.
They'll work their way off of turn number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. It is Dan West Jr. jumping out in the early going. They steam full, they roar at full speed past the start-finish line is what I meant to say. Obviously, remember, this is also a nice break for the drivers. After 2 weeks, they're right back at it again, and they're going to be going at it for 4 straight weeks to decide the lineup. The leaders are off 2 with West out in front. O'Hare and Smith battle also to the back straightaway.
That battle keeping fierce. Switch back for O'Hare to the inside of the 12. Then try and wheel it around the bottom of the racetrack. In through turn 3 and 4. Reynolds using the edge of the 3rd seam, trying to pull off and away. Meanwhile, behind them, drivers such as Troy Daggett trying to gain some ground early.
Little bonsai move there by defending champion Chris White. He goes to the outside, down to the inside, cuts off Smith. Smith up on the outside lane. He's got help from Daggett. Now also Malik on the bottom of the speedway. Camary now comes to the top shelf. And all this happens on lap 2 out of turn 2.
Bob following, keeping an eye on the 99, for example, at the back end of the top 10, just outside of it, following behind the 06 machine. Now we're trying to get to the inside of Kevin Smith. Dives it hard, trying to launch it around the bottom of the racetrack. Just about clear. Indeed is clear.
Working their way again off of turn number 4, back to start finish. Obviously, Malik will get that spot on the inside. He'll have Daggett with him. One thing I noticed with these camera angles, one thing is that it's not that bright here at Auto Club. Definitely, I wonder what kind of, what's it like in the cockpit of one of these cars. Let's see if our producer, Mason Heimbach, can put us on board with maybe Cole Raz in the 10 car and see what it's like from driving inside these cars, because the view from outside on this virtual lighting system makes it look like it's very dark at Auto Club here, Justin, as they come off turn 4.
Looks fairly bright inside the car tonight, but Cole Ross not having a bright time along the bottom side, looking for things to go towards this direction of notice. The main thing's going to be, are you going to prefer to run up against the wall early on, or try and run the middle to top lines, or try and wrap it around the bottom? Raz and Lake Peterson saving tires along the bottom of the racetrack, Wesley. Caden Anderson thinking about the same thing. The top thing's going to be, will that traffic allow them to keep on running the bottom?
And there's that precision banking that we were mentioning, progressive banking, where you can go 3, 4, 5 wide. They were sticking it 4 wide just a moment ago, all the way almost to the bottom of the apron of the racetrack, and then they'll send it back 2 by 2 by 2 as Peterson's on the bottom. He's under attack now. It's West the leader. Here comes Smith. Ritter's outside. These drivers battle down for second and third. Toby Ritter's. Clifford is looking to go to the lead out of turn number 2.
That's still for second. Dan West Jr. has ran away from everybody else. Chris White starting to press the push button, using the outside line to get around Ritter's. Behind them, Brian Reynolds doing the same. Lake Peterson electing to wrap the bottom. Ritter's forced to do the same as Chris White tries to keep up with Dan West Jr. The lead up to 1.25 seconds out of 4.
But you got to give an attaboy, though, to Clifford. Toby Ritter's in that 23 Budweiser Thunder Valley entry. Normally, their Thunder Road entry, he normally is mired in the back. Something happened right now. He's got a really strong piece here at Auto Club. He sits in the number 2, the number 3 spot. It's West the leader, big over the field, big lead now. White second, Ritter's, Peterson off the back straightaway. They work on lap 6.
Ritter's nearly washed up to the wall, able to keep it off the fence, however. Still side by side behind him as Brian Reynolds trying to find a way around Lake Peterson. Peterson not making it easy, though. Continues to keep it to the side of the door. Brian Reynolds trying to pull him back with a side draft.
The lead is almost 1 second more over the leader of Dan West Jr. to Chris White. Ritter's in third. All the cars now work their way now back across start finish, back into turn 1 and 2. Camary now looking to size up a move on Anderson. Smith up on the top side. Raz on the bottom under Peterson. That's on 2.
Camary, one of the surprises of the race in the midst of the pack so far. One of your biggest movers. Was the biggest mover, but now gets shuffled by Kevin Smith. Nearly cuts across Troy Dankett's front nose. Elects to ride in the second line. Tries to keep it underneath the 00 out of turn 4.
All of this happening now as they work the top side of the racetrack off of turn number 4, back through the Geico restart zone. They roar past the start-finish line. It's West, White, Ritter's, Reynolds, Peterson. That's the way they are in the top 5. Camary now looking on a move on the bottom on Smith. He's also got hair on the bottom. And now Paulison. There's action everywhere. Mason Hambaugh's getting a headache trying to find action on the racetrack off 2.
3 wide down the back straightaway. Up the middle goes Stephen Paulison. Frank Harris tries to join in on the outside as well. Malik trying to run up a lane below the wall. Stephen O'Hare backs out of it. BJ Duvall nearly wrecks himself to the inside of Frank Harris as Malik hits the wall.
Take your pick. There is action all over the speedway. This is now the best battle. Here comes now the machine of Stephen O'Hare down to the inside, making a move on Daggett's car. Will Duvall, BJ Jorge Duval, originally now in the 85, ready to go. He's been running on the World of Outlaw Esports Dirt Series, came very close to winning the championship, coming up short. He battles now with the 36. All of this going on the racetrack with Ledbetter along with Burke in the top 20. That's for 14, 15, 16, 17 as they work their way again, coming off of turn number 4 back to the start finish line. It is a heated battle with now Frank Harris in the Haviland colors under attack. All of this going on, Justin, as we're 10 laps in. No change in the top 5 as now Paulison and Daggett go at it for position back into turn number 1.
Daggett again trying to run the wall, but Paulison sends it deep inside. Slides up and completes the slide job. Even Paulison up to the 10th spot. Now trying to keep within range of Kevin Smith, the car distance about 5 car lengths. Of note, the lead has gone from nearly 2 seconds up to under half a second, Wesley. Chris White is within the draft again of Dan West Jr.
After 23 weeks of racing, they round 24 to the championship will now be the playoffs to decide who will win the title. It's Dan West Jr. He is the leader, the blue and white 55, going back into turn number 1, a 2-time Truck Series champion, back-to-back. And now White, the Cup Series champion of last year in the mix. Behind him is Reynolds. Briar Reynolds has a bottom. He has got cars all around him in the likes of Peterson, in Ritters, in Raz. All of this happening now as they go to turn 3.
Peterson continuing to prefer to run the bottom. He has not given up that line so far. Cole Raz the same. Peterson starting to make up ground. Rounds around Ritters. Slides back up to 4th.
Across the start finish line, another lap will go up on the scoreboard, and it's now 12 laps in, working lap 13. Briar Reynolds, this is on the rear deck lid of his Jack Daniels number 7 machine. Chevrolet versus Chevrolet. Chevrolet to the bottom, it's Raz. Here comes Ritters up on the top out of 2.
Ritters not able to get around, though, nearly hooked around by Anderson all over his back bumper. Anderson gets to the corner panel. Pulls down to the bottom of the racetrack. Ritters gives space. Ritters an extra car length of space, in fact, to allow Anderson to slide up inside the top 6.
All of this happening now as they work across the start-finish line. 13 laps now about to go up on the scoring pylon with Dan West Jr., the leader. Here goes another battle ensuing inside the top 10. Anderson, Ritters, Camary, Paulison. This battle goes on out of 2.
Peterson missing a bit of the bottom this time, but trying to wrap the bottom up in the battle up the road. The battle for 3rd position. Things calming down to the head of the field. Peterson looking to try and round around Briar Reynolds. Peterson jumps up to 3rd spot as he gets to the inside, passes away within a second of the leader.
All of this works as they exit off of turn number 4. There's Peterson's car, the number 1 seed, the guy that's dominated the first half of the season, almost the entire regular season for that matter. 9 wins in 23 races for the driver of the Hooters entry. The man that was so short making the playoffs last year, he's on a vengeance. He's now looking for 3rd. He now clears by Reynolds and Raz off turn 2.
Raz trying to get to the inside of Reynolds, though, in turn. Can't get to the inside fender. Now it was pulled back the 12 machine. Raz again back along the bottom of the racetrack, trying to keep up with his fellow super friend. Trying to bring up the superhero cape as he can't make the move yet.
All of this going on now as the field works their way back across the start-finish line. It's Dan West Jr., the leader. He still holds on to the spot. We're 15 laps in. Razzle-dazzle, racing action everywhere. Harris on the bottom. O'Hare. Look at Malik now going to the top side. Great racing at Auto Club here on lap 15.
Near contact with the side of Ledbetter as Carl Burke backs out of it. Burke now getting shuffled 3 wide. One driver dives to the inside, KC Garber. Behind him, Justin Yee giving him the bump. Yee trying to find a way to poke around. Not able to find a way to wrap around Burke yet as Burke hugs around the top of the exit. Yee to the wall.
Almost to the wall also goes Burke. Burke with Yee up on the outside of the fence as they work off of turn number 4 back across the start-finish line. They both slap almost the outside safer wall barrier. They keep it together. 3 wide now. The leak in the middle as they work off 2. Harris on the bottom, and he has got some company with Stab now also.
Harris watches along from the inside. Justin Yee smacks the wall behind him. Still able to get towards the inside of Jeff Stabnow. Now drops back though. Stabnow with the quicker run. Malik though launches it all the way to the wall goes Frank Harris. Everyone's starting to bounce off the wall, Wesley.
All of this happening now like ping pong balls, if you will, working off of turn number 4, inside and outside. Malik's car down below the bottom of the apron is also the machine of the 99 in the mix of Troy Daggett. This is action going on everywhere. Behind 7th on back to the top 15. It is a gaggle of traffic off turn number 2.
John Brightsman trying to find a way to poke around, has struggled early on in this race with no track position. After no qualifying time, he takes it near 3 wide, pulls to the outside, gets the outside of Garber, now tucks in behind Harris. Now goes to the middle seam. 3 wide with Harris on the outside, pulls back behind Garber. Garber slides up and parks the bus on Brightsman's nose.
Fontana, California, the location on the virtual iRacing simulator tonight for round number 24 of the 2022 Northwest Racing Series Cup Tour for season number 3. Tonight is also the opening round of the playoffs. We're closing in on 20 laps, almost 1/5 of the way, and it is still West, the leader. Still a lot of great racing going on to the back straightaway, though, Justin.
Still 3 wide in the midst of the heart of the pack. Still battling out for around 15th, 14th, 13th. Paulison launches himself all the way near to the wall. Has to lift hard. Jeff Stabnow drives on by. So does Casey Garber. So does Duvall as they start scraping the wall.
Cars trying to avoid any type of damage by smacking the outside safer wall barrier, but that is all for naught. They still continue to muster all that momentum they have right now on lap number 20 next time by. You're on board with the Ford of Chad Malik. Malik's car battling, trying to run down Paulison. He's holding off 4 cars behind him on the bottom as they go to 2.
Brightsman backs out of the 3 wide, however, still can't find a way around to get inside the top half of the field. Brightsman runs middle. Casey Garber off in front of his nose. Camary tries to run the wall in front of them. 3 wide on exit as Garber makes contact.
Garber now getting a little antsy. Yee also slamming doors there with also the machine of Frank Harris. Harris on the inside. Aaron Cooper down to the bottom. Here comes Malik. He won't back down. They're 3 wide off turn 2.
Yee trying to get out of the 3 wide. Gets dunked back in it. Malik again to the outside. Up into it goes Harris. Back straight away. They all sandwich together. They spin around to the inside in the safer barrier. Yee in the wall. Yee demolished as he slides up the track for the first caution of the race.
Caution out on lap number 20. It's a multi-car accident as they were fighting for position. Yellow flag out for the first time. Justin Prince off of turn number 2 for the replay.
Frank Harris simply slid up the track into Yee, and it sent them for a ride. Justin Yee getting the absolute worst of it. Frank Harris absolutely demolished as well. Yee and Harris out of contention here after significant contact out of turn 2.
And you knew that that was a storm that was brewing amongst all these cars. We're going to show it to you one more time for those that are watching in slow motion. If you're listening on the Community Radio Network with our simulcast coverage of round 1 of the playoffs here at Auto Club, Justin Yee is in the middle. Malik was up on the outside. Frank Harris was on the bottom. Aaron Cooper, Odenbacher on the outside looking in. And just too much contact finally made amongst each other, and they all sandwich in. All 3 cars, inking, blinking, nodding. Oh my, look at Aaron Cooper somehow going to the bottom to avoid all this. And Odenbacher goes high. The 3 cars that were 3 wide for about a lap or so take each other out down the back straightaway. Hard contact into the inside safer wall barrier by Frank Harris and Justin Yee as well. I think a fast repair's coming, Justin Prince.
Yes, and absolute fast repair needed to be used, but we've had problems under caution. The leaders have just come into the pit lane. However, some of them have just absolutely demolished themselves coming to the pace car. And Sean Brightsman, amongst those getting the absolute worst of it. Speeding up, you see some of them
what in the world?
Absolutely a parking lot as they checked up for the pace car. We'll have to take an arrow look for those watching the LSRTV side. but at least 6-7 cars stopped out of turn 3.
Well, we're going to try to find out what happened here. It looked like wow, Duval got into stab now. Duval wrecked Kevin Smith. And what in the world?
Toby Ritter's in it, Kamari in it, Brightsman, as mentioned, having to go and take a tow from it. That is a lack of awareness.
And then we saw Audenbacher and also Aaron Cooper have a wreck with each other on the front straightaway. Let's look at this one more time. I wonder if something happened to Duval. Look at this. Oh, man. I don't think he meant to intentionally take out Stab now. They're friends. I'm going to step away real quick, Justin, and see if I can try to get a clarification of what's going on here.
Either it's the lack of awareness or something technical on Duval's side to be able to pull myself back a little bit here, because that is something you do not expect to happen in any sort of race, in any sort of caution sequence such as that one. That took out Sean Brightsman in particular out of contention. That puts him in a huge postseason hole here.
All right, so guys, this is what I'm being told, Justin. I am just stepping away, and I'm being told as we have green flag pit stops, Will Duval is the cause of the accident. He literally said, Wesley, I messed up. I looked down to check my fuel gauge to see where I was with about a quarter of the distance of the race in, and the next thing I know, everybody was slowing down, and I just slammed into everybody that was in my path. And Jeff Stab now was a little frustrated because obviously he felt like he had a pretty good race car. And he's like, yeah, Duval, you wrecked me. I don't know what you were thinking.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. Not the good incredible. Because, again, yes, it's important to check the fuel gauges, but that just absolutely put Sean Brightsman in a bad hole to start off the playoffs, Wesley. He is
a lot
still
of drivers,
in the pit.
you're exactly right. I mean, a lot of drivers are also using fast repairs a quarter of the distance into this race also now.
At a spot you don't expect it, or in drivers like Stab now, he mentioned the speed expected in his car. He's got significant damage here. Drivers that may have not been expecting to take damage repair, having to take them. This is not a good spot for some of the drivers in turn. But here's the thing, we're coming to green. Aaron Cooper, for some reason, did not hit.
Aaron Cooper, best finish this year so far, runner-up in Daytona when the season started. As the field gets ready to come back to the Geico restart zone, Blake Peterson, the #1 seed all year long, brings the field back to green. It's Dan West Jr. falling back to third after a round of pit stops. Raz White, top 5, they'll send it 3 wide into turn number 1 and 2.
Dan West Jr. launches it around the outside. Gets around Blake Peterson, as well as Aaron Cooper. Dan West Jr. returns to the race lead down the back straightaway. Peterson tries to hold off Cole Raz. The Super Friends unite to the bottom into 3 and 4. Dan West Jr. preferring the middle as the Hornet's Nest picks up out of 4.
All this happening with contact down at the bottom. You ever seen somebody just go from the front all the way shuffle to the back? That's exactly what happened to Aaron Cooper. And why is that? Because he has got about 25 laps used up tires compared to new fresh rubber on a lot of the cars as they bonsai by him and pass him like a lost cause into turn 1.
And this is a majorly different strategy call for Cooper, losing tons of ground. Down the back straightaway, meanwhile. Amonsto's picking up lots of ground in the strategy. Troy Daggett inside of KC Garber. Garber pulls around him on the outside, though. Up for the lead to the inside. Peterson trying to wrap it around the 55 of Dan West Jr., trying to bubble it around up 4.
All of this happening now as they work their way off of turn number 4. Raz is there. Anderson's there. Super Friends, here they come. Da-da-da-da! Coming after Dan West Jr., the 2-time Truck Series champion. He's on his own, but he holds him off into turn 1 and 2.
Peterson last run went save, save, and more save. This time with the 1 stopper regardless. Now with less time potentially for the tires. Looking to go charge, and more charge. Able to run forward in second. Anderson up to third. Back to the bottom goes Peterson. Dan West Jr. preferring the wide arc down to the bottom of the racetrack out of 4.
All of this happening now as the field works their way back across the start-finish line. Look at Cooper now, still falling back, free falling, if you will. Back to the Geico restart zone. He is now going to join the likes of Cooper all the way back to at least the top 25. He is way back there as that goes on. We have to keep an eye on the 71 because you know he's going to have to pit sometime soon as he joins Frank Harris and other cars. All this happening now as the leader, Dan West Jr., leads him to the back straightaway. The Peterson in second in tow.
Battle's picking up for second spot. O'Hare wants to go. O'Hare wants the outside. O'Hare loses the outside, gets the crossover to the inside for the front.
All of this happening now as they work off turn number 4. We are closing in on 30 laps completed, 70 to go, 20 to halfway. It's right now West Jr. going inside, going outside. O'Hare to the bottom. Here comes now Anderson. He goes after Peterson, 2 for 1, maybe 3 for 1 for Caden Anderson to the back straightaway.
Anderson trying to find something to work on the bottom. No help, though, for the draft. Trying to go the short distance around, however. Still running to the white line. Peterson better run out of the corner. Casey Garber takes the outside to get alongside car 37.
All of this happening now as the field works off turn 4, back across the start-finish line. They speed back to turn number 1. Look at this gaggle of traffic where at one time Dan West Jr. had a nice, comfortable lead by himself. It is diminished. It's 5, 6, 7 cars. West on back to Reynolds, have a shot to the lead. They go to the back stretch.
Peterson peeking outside of O'Hare. Can't get around the inside line. Casey Garber says, thank you, I'll take your outside groove away. Side by side for third, in through 3. Garber runs on top of the second seam, tries to get the pole, has to back out of it.
They'll definitely have to reset and regroup here as they work their way back across the start-finish line. It is West the leader. Look at this gaggle of traffic, a hornet's nest here at Auto Club coming after him. What a way to start the playoffs. Playoff drivers not racing in the playoffs, but looking for wins, all in the mix of the top 10 out of turn 2.
Trying to still find a way around and poke around. Peterson still not able to prod his way around from the inside groove. Not changing up quite yet. O'Hare trying to ride over the back bumper of Dan West Jr. Slides up, loses the bottom again. Peterson pokes around the bottom again. Side by side, draft being fed though to O'Hare.
Peterson down to the bottom of the racetrack now. The outside lane has a nice hook up. They're all going to go single file, and here comes the conga line. Full speed ahead. 2 and 3 wide. Peterson to the bottom. Now O'Hare to the outside. Garber, where do you go? Left or right? Meanwhile, West is gone to the back straightaway.
West saying bye-bye as Casey Garber says hello to the outside of Peterson again. Peterson trying to poke back underneath the 41. O'Hare taking the middle. The Beaver State Racing Machine again under attack down the front stretch.
We're at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification on the Community Radio Network with the Northwest Racing Series playoffs from Auto Club.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Speedway, we're back here after network identification, and it is a battle here just after midnight Eastern time. Justin Prince, Wesley Outland, Mason Heimbaugh on production. Dan West Jr., the two-time and defending Truck Series champion, now trying to win round 1 of the playoffs. Remember, Justin, you win, you advance to the next round. You don't have to worry about points. He's trying to do that right now as we approach halfway.
Yeah, quickly this race bursting on through. Peterson trying to burst around the inside line. It has not been working though. Peterson has lost several spots trying to run the inside groove. Dan West Jr. has been the dominant car all night long so far, leading by as much as nearly 2 seconds.
Field working their way off of turn number 4. There is Caden Anderson. There is also Lake Peterson, number 10 of Cole Raz. Who do we call them? Super friends, all there with each other. Somehow, some way, the big three in the Cup Series now trying to make a run through the field. But right now, those cars starting to now get by more traffic. They try to clear Daggett. They try to clear also, amongst themselves. Also Reynolds. All of this in a nice gaggle of traffic. That is a nice, let's see here, from Camary on back, that's a 12-car battle for the lead.
Yeah, this group is continuing to stay nice and tightly packed together. Drivers like Brian Reynolds followed on board with for the LSRTV side of things, doing a strong job. Carl Burke having one of his best races of the season. Troy Dagan doing the same. That can come into play a lot of times in Auto Club, but the bottom group coming into play again for some of those drivers are trying to run the second and third seams. Peterson getting the bottom to start to click. Casey Garber starting to lose the grip for the back straightaway in the midst of some of the battles, coming to 64 laps to go.
All of this happening down the back straightaway as they work now off the exit of turn 2 to turn number 3 now. In the entrance, there goes now Burke's car up the outside. Here comes Kevin Smith down to the bottom. He's now going to try to clear all those cars. Fletcher also in the mix, and look at just how fast Kevin Smith's car was. He was down at the bottom, 3-car lengths, and as he go to the outside lane, he has reeled them in. He has now joined this battle with the front pack as the leaders go to turn 1 on lap number 36.
Battle for the race lead. Peterson going for the inside on the 55. Rips away the race lead from Dan West Jr. down the back straightaway. Down the back goes West Jr. to the back bumper of Peterson, trying to fight back. Peterson tries to send it hard on defense. West Jr. tries to get the run off the corner, loses ground instead.
All this happening off of the corner, and slamming the wall goes Stephen O'Hare. He gets into the outside safer wall barrier. Now drops to the bottom of the apron of the racetrack as they cross the start-finish line. Now everybody will play bonsai and powered by him on the outside lane. He'll save his car. How much damage on the Ford as they work off turn 1?
It looks clean cosmetically, but with the adjustments to the damage model, how is that car mechanically? That is a huge question potentially for O'Hare as he's able to slot in line in 7th. O'Hare riding on board with having to turn it a fair bit, a little bit, trying to keep it from getting tight again. O'Hare slides up. He'll hit the wall again, just about.
All of this happening with Stephen O'Hare now in the fence. He'll now hold it together again as they cross the start-finish line. You're on board. Kevin Smith, Walla Walla. Washington driver pulls up in front of him in turn 1.
Whoa, that was close. Kevin Smith able to clear on by up for 7th spot. O'Hare starting to drop. Meanwhile, a fight up the road. For 3rd spot, Casey Garber outside. Cole Raz inside. Slotting on back, Raz gets a little push though from Anderson. Anderson trying to help out the super friend. Trying to give a little bit of some unitedness out of the corner.
And he can try that all he wants to, but I still think he's coming up short on that end. All this happening now is the field working their way back across the start-finish line. Now, Raz, Anderson. Also, here comes the machine of Garber up on the outside. He wants to battle Super Friends. And Reynolds is also back in this mix. That's the top 4, 5, 6 to back straightaway.
Did we mention Reynolds is technically a super friend too? He's trying to be very super and work with Anderson. Anderson tries to run the bottom. Reynolds backs up. Reynolds tries to line it up again. Slots behind Garber instead out of turn 4.
All of this happening now with Casey Garber on board with him now, as Justin mentioned. He's part of the Super Friends gang, though he has not had the competitive. Oh, look at the move by Anderson. We drifted up past Garber, went to the outside lane, shifted back down to the inside, and boy, that was brave right there because it could have got into his friend on the back straightaway. They save it.
Yeah, we got into it a couple times, in fact, as they get down the back straightaway. Anderson still not getting any space from KC Garber. Garber, keep in mind, also in that social group. Trying to keep things very social with the side of the 37 car.
Yeah, but you got to wonder right now, I wonder what his super friend is thinking at the moment as those guys battle with one another. Brian Reynolds now reels them in. Is he going to try to go 3 wide? He thought about it. He stays to the inside of the racetrack. Now he'll go to the outside. He'll hook up with Garber. He'll play wingman and leave Anderson hung out to dry on the bottom as they work out of turn 2. Halfway is coming up here at Auto Club.
Anderson trying to clear himself, nearly clears Garber. Has to back out of it. Garber zips around the outside again. Not able to fully clear again. Anderson again wraps the bottom. Garber slides up, forced out of the gas. Anderson shorter distance around, quicker, has more momentum out of 4.
Anderson, there you see him down below the bottom of the racetrack. He literally is still hanging in the top 5. You would think that he just got defeated in the war. He is not done yet. He'll power back down to the inside. Somehow clears by Reynolds, now by Garber up on the outside lane. He'll now run back down his friend, Raz, after West and Kyle. All that going on to the back straightaway as we work on lap number 43.
Quickly approaching that halfway mark indeed with 57 to go. Meanwhile, a wrestling match is broken out for the very back of the pack. Right now, Stephen Paulson under attack by Jeff Stab now to the inside. Frank Harris, a lap car, zips on by them, says, I'm going to get away from this as you fight.
Back across the start-finish line. They stay to the outside of the racetrack. There's Jeff Stab now. Remember, he was one of those drivers that was caught up in that accident under a secondary yellow in turn number 3 under the caution flag when Will Duvall kind of became a demolition derby and took out multiple cars by accident. He had to use a fast repair. Meanwhile, they're 3 wide, bottom of the racetrack. Smith, Reynolds, they clear Garber as they work off turn number 4.
Smith saying enough is enough. I want to go. Trying to find a way around still. Garber getting some draft from Reynolds. Now the draft fed to Smith as everybody snaking everybody down the front.
All of this happening now as the field works their way past the start-finish line. Reynolds now back to the outside, down to the inside. Garber will follow. I'll tell you this, as we approach halfway, Justin, I love the fact that we're seeing some new drivers that usually either are in the back or they're fighting to stay on the lead lap or they have problems and they can't finish the race. Now getting their chance to shine in round 1 of the playoffs. Some of those notables include Brian Reynolds, Garber, Daggett, also Burke, Barnes, Fletcher. What a job for them right now. And don't count also men like Tidrick and Kamari.
Tidrick indeed amongst those up 16 spots. Keep in mind, pit stops underway for Chris White and Aaron Cooper. Here's the interesting thing here, Wesley. Those last 2 names I just mentioned for the pit stops cannot make it to the end here. The fuel window about 45-50 laps. This is an interesting play for the 6th and the 71 as we are just quickly approaching halfway. The battle is on for 2nd. Raz zips by West Jr. West Jr. tries to go around the outside, gets tight. Anderson for 3rd. Battles on.
Works their way off of turn number 4. A few more laps and we'll see the cross flags come from the flag stand. It'll be halfway here at the Virtual Auto Club Speedway. Nightfall settling in. This race started at night. That's another positive that these drivers didn't have to worry about as far as handling wise from dusk until nightfall. It's been dark since the drop of the green. This is on board with Brian Reynolds. He's now battling Dan West for 4th in the top 5 as they go into the 3rd turn down. Look at that Chevrolet. Hug the racetrack down to the bottom. Dan West Jr. up high. He opens the door for Reynolds, but then he'll power back as they work off turn number 4. Look also in that little rear view mirror from the left angle of the car number 12. I saw Kevin Smith. He goes now to the right side of the race car. That all goes on. Peekaboo into turn number 1. I see you. 3 wide.
Dan West Jr. says no thank you, squeezes Kevin Smith out, however. Smith forced to back out of it. Reynolds wraps around the bottom in turn, loses ground on the 55. Kevin Smith relaunches, reloads, retools around the bottom of the racetrack to battle with Reynolds. Behind them, the Hornet's Nest starting to pick up for 14th. Lots of shoving and battling amongst the mid-pack. as we approach 52 laps to go.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of shaking going on. Lyrics to a song and lyrics to what's happening here on the racetrack right now as we're also preparing for halfway. Camary up on the outside lane. Ledbetter threading the needle 3 wide to the bottom. He'll clear Paulison as they work through the Geico restart zone. Back to start finish line. As now goes Lowther. He's now got Stab now in front of him. The playoffs all going on. We're halfway here at Auto Club. 100 miles down, 100 miles to go, and a few more laps. And this Ledbetter Camary Paulison battle is heated off too.
Camary trying to wrap around the high side. Paulison dropping fast. Remember, Paulison was trying to charge earlier. Now under attack by the 7 of Brett Johnson. Brett Johnson trying to find a little bit of steam along the second seam. And that first seam, able to round around. Camary gets tight. Camary out of the gas. Johnson with the pole.
Here comes the field back across the start-finish line. 1 lap to halfway here at Auto Club Speedway. It's Peterson, Raz, and Anderson. Weston Smith, the top 5. That's the way that battle continues now with Johnson in a nice battle in the top 15 with Paulison Camary off turn 2.
Down the back straightaway, meanwhile, with the battle for 8. Troy Daggett trying to go on a drag strip with Stephen O'Hare. Stephen O'Hare not able to get the pole, though, however, should say, in the 41. Troy Daggett now up to 8th. And one of his best nights of the season, he tries to find a way off as we are at the cross flags.
Cross flags come from the flag stand. It's now 50 laps down, 50 laps to go, and a change for the lead also at halfway as Raz now battles with Peterson. They flip-flop for that position. Anderson in 3rd, top 3 work off 2 at halfway.
As shuffles back in line, Anderson over the back bumper. Dan West Jr. watches in the popcorn seat. Anderson takes the middle line. Anderson nearly gets hit by West Jr. Now moves to the bottom. Raz cuts down to the bottom as well. Peterson slides up high. Raz pulls underneath the 9 out of 4.
Here they come back to the start-finish line, ready for the second half of the race at Auto Club. Peterson out the dry. Super Friends now become Super Enemy for the 9. Dan West Jr., the guy on the outside looking in, tries to give him a push. He'll now let him close back in on the fight between Anderson and Raz. The leaders, the Super Friends, battle. They bump. They make contact. Raz almost sells away. Also, this happens off turn number 2 as Peterson and Anderson battle.
Able to hold on to it, though, as Anderson regroups again. Dan West Jr. launches to the second line, takes his arc line. Anderson slides up higher. Peterson lifts out of the gas. Raz looks to sail away.
Sail away, sail away, sail away. All of this going on now as they work across the stripe. It's now Peterson down to the bottom. Anderson with a quick move evasively. He almost slaps the outside safer wall barrier. He now tries to bonsai off the corner. He saves the car, keeping it off the wall, but he loses ground on Raz and Peterson out of 2.
Anderson with the ramp, though, out of turn 2. Uses the banking to his advantage. Makes the pass. Anderson on the outside. Makes his move around Peterson. Great, Jaden Anderson able to get around the 9 as he looks to try and set his sights on Cole Raz. Peterson on his bumper, though, forced to lift back.
Yeah, the field working their way back across the start-finish line. Here comes now Dan West Jr. He'll play wingman. Maverick and Goose now after Super Friends. Raz and Anderson here at Auto Club into turn number 1.
West trying to dive around Peterson. Peterson trying to pinch hard. Peterson trying to get those eyes nice and big from an inside groove, like the hood on his car and the logos on his car. Peterson pulls around the outside. Peterson able to hold on to 3rd spot for the time being. Tries to reach back to the gray back bumper of Caden Anderson. Not able to spook him around yet as he tries to find a way to close.
Only one yellow flag to halt this race right back around lap number 22, if you will. Other than that, it's been a solid green flag run. And you got to think eventually in the next 20 laps or so, green flag pit stops are on the horizon and they might decide the outcome of the race. It is Raz, it is Anderson, it is Peterson, it is West. Reynolds now sticks his nose in the battle, top 5 off 2.
Leaders fighting aggressive down the back. Peterson pulls back. West Jr. pulls in. West Jr. dives underneath Peterson, takes the leader mark. Now forced down to the white line earlier than usual. West Jr. tight. Lifts hard, lifts really hard to avoid the fender Peterson does.
Yeah, he really had to get up on the lifters, as you mentioned, to try to avoid that contact. Now Peterson drops out of line. He'll come back down to the bottom and go with Reynolds, or will he? Now he goes back up on the outside lane. Now he goes back to the inside. He can't decide where he wants to go.
Reynolds peeks underneath West Jr. in turn. West Jr. gets back outside. Forces Reynolds to stay low. West Jr. pulls back around. West Jr. regroups. 44 to go this upcoming time by. Continue to shuffle and dance around. West Jr. taking the high groove. The top three wrapping the bottom. Peterson, the tightest of them all, up to the wall again.
All this happening now as the leaders come back across the start-finish line. It is Cole Raz right there at the stripe. Lap 56 completed. As Justin mentioned, we're down to 40-some-odd laps left to go. Raz now stays on the bottom. Anderson now goes to the outside. They work off two.
Raz trying to close things up. Anderson looking to battle things up. Outside, zips around Peterson. Launches back to the red back bumper of Cole Raz. Anderson trying to work his way there. Can't poke underneath yet. Lap traffic potentially play a factor. Peterson under attack though from the 55. The blue and white machine backs out of it though.
Yeah, all of this happening now as the field working their way back across the start-finish line one more time. It is Raz staying on the outside. Anderson will stay right there with him. Peterson right there to the outside, to the inside. Where do you go? 2 by 2. We mentioned progressive banking, precision racing. That's happening here, and you're seeing every inch of this racetrack being used to the back straightaway.
Raz trying to maintain the advantage. Anderson trying to close back around. Anderson still not able to fully close up the gap. Starting to peel things back around. Lap traffic stays high. Sean Breitzman to the outside wall. Moves out of the way.
Raz in the playoffs, Anderson in the playoffs, Peterson in the playoffs. There is Sean Breitzman, also another driver that is in the playoffs, but he got caught up in an accident earlier. Now he's fighting to stay on the lead lap. He goes the lap down, but the leader's out of 2.
Breitzman backs around, backs away from the top 2 fight. Peterson starting to lose ground, however, lost a 10th last time by. Falling back towards Reynolds. Reynolds trying to keep up the tempo. Breitzman moves up to the top side, tries to move alongside. Peterson moves inside, trying to clear the 46 and does to get around the traffic.
By the way, I mentioned Sean Breitzman now 2 laps down. He's now 3 laps down as he just got bypassed by the leaders as they work their way back into turn number 1 and 2. Raz, Anderson, Peterson, that's the way it stands. Lap traffic now in the way. Oh, this is all going on as they work off of turn 2 and Peter Breitzman's up in the wall.
Breitzman's race not going well to say the very least, but the battle for the race lead taking an interesting turn. Anderson trying to size up Raz, not able to peel his way underneath Raz, just about got there. Now tries to peel a little bit earlier on the throttle. 40 to go. Anderson goes a little bit too high.
40 laps to go as the field crosses the start-finish line. We're going to go side by side so you don't miss a thing. We're back from Auto Club. This is the Northwest Racing Series Playoffs. iRacing on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network. We're back for the finish. .62 laps completed this time by when the leaders work their way off of turn number 4 right now. Welcome back to coverage. Round number 24 of the season. However, this is the new season. This is the postseason and the playoffs. This is iRacing on LSRTV and the Community Radio Network. I am Wesley Outland, Justin Prince alongside Mason Heimbaugh is the producer-director tonight, filling in for Charles Wooten and everybody at Rocket Media. And as we settle into the home stretch with under 40 laps to go, Justin, me and you set off mic. This has pretty much been the Super Friends era this year, and I got a feeling it's going to be the same way for the playoffs, just looking at what we're seeing in round one.
Yeah, they have been the quickest drivers throughout the campaign, and that's continued all throughout tonight's action so far. The trends have been looking their direction. The question mark's going to be, how will the Super Friends finish tonight? And in turn, who will try and break up their party? That's going to be the major difficult part for the rest of this campaign.
Back into turn number one. There goes Peterson down to the inside. Reynolds will follow. West also there. This happening as they work into turn number three. It's Cole Raz out in front. Anderson, they're trying to get some daylight between third on back as they work off of turn number four. Working now, lap number 63. 64 laps now going to be completed next time around as we are into the cross home stretch here for the playoffs. Next week, we're road course racing at the Roval. That'll be fun. Totally different than a round track race like tonight at Auto Club, but no doubt about it, this race has not disappointed. It's now O'Hare and Barnes. They battle for position inside the top 10 in turn number one.
Trying to find a way forward. Barnes, he's been slowly but surely gaining up the ground. Now catching up to O'Hare. O'Hare, a massive decline from being a battler for the race lead earlier on. Barnes electing not to take the pass attempt yet. Tries to round the bottom. O'Hare slides up the track. Barnes elects to peel it down to the pit lane for his service.
I'm thinking green flag pit stops. They're on the way. This is just the start of it now, Justin, as the field works across the start-finish line. There is Daggett's car in the number 99 machine. All of this going on now with O'Hare on the bottom. And now there's another car down below the inside. That was Kevin Smith's car. Here comes now Brett Johnson. Here comes Brian Barnes. Green flag pit stops, and I think the cavalry all will be coming in the next 10 laps here, Justin, on lap 65.
Now it's the question mark, when do the rest of the leaders come in? No peel-offs yet for Anderson, Raz, and company. Peterson not peeling off. This now becomes the major thing. Who goes for the undercut? Pit stop for Troy Daggett coming for the 99. Lap traffic being dealt with for the race leaders.
All of this happening now on lap number 66. We're seeing green flag pit stops as all the while. Now Burke under attack by the leader, Cole Raz. He'll go to the inside. He'll go to the outside. All this happening now as they work to the back straightaway.
Down off through the corner. Raz wraps to the inside. Looking to slow it down. Pit stops coming from Anderson. Raz elects to pick it up. Raz elects not to go down. That allows Anderson to close up.
Yeah, I thought for a second we were going to see some cars peel down onto the pit lane, but that is yet to happen right now, as here comes now this great battle between Raz and Anderson, but now Peterson and Reynolds also having a nice little battle for third, fourth, fifth on the outside. Looking in is Dan West Jr. off turn two.
Reynolds still looking to poke and prod around, looking towards the run. Closes down around, backs it up big time, looking for a bit of distance between him and Peterson. Trying to use the ramp. Lap traffic works around the outside of the battle for third.
And they work off of turn number four, flashing past the Geico restart zone, back to start finish. And at a glance, it's still going to be Raz staying up on the outside lane. Anderson will follow right behind his super friend. They'll send it off into 1 and 2. You got to wonder, when do you pit and do you stay right there with your friend and pit at the same time?
Inside the pit window, mind you, and they are just about at the very tail end of the fuel window marks for the tanks in themselves. It could come down to who comes in first and who is able to maximize their tires. The best of those who come in. Dan West Jr.'s already come in. No peel off for the top two. Peterson chugs along with Reynolds. No stops for the top four yet.
Only one yellow flag in this race so far. That was around lap number 22. And since then, it's been about a 50-lap green flag run with the exception of Aaron Cooper that chose not to come to the pit lane. Everybody did. This is closing in on a 50-lap green flag run. And somewhere or another, they're coming in. Here comes now Garber's car. He is on the pit lane of the 94, and other cars will follow. Here is lap number 69 approaches. Camary is coming in. Here comes now the machine of also Lowther locking up the tires as he comes to his pit box stall. He overshot his pit stall. And mind you, as we saw Ritters come by and pit, here comes now the leader, Anderson. Raz now leading. Anderson, I think, is going to follow him. This all happens. Peterson, they're all in. Super Friends, all four coming down to the pit lane for the money stop here with 30 to go at Auto Club. Justin Prince.
This could be critical to determine who comes away with the race lead out of the pit stops. Anderson, all with the back bumper of Raz. Now backs off his back bumper as they roll their way to the pit boxes. Can they hit their marks? Anderson misses his. Cole Raz hits his. Anderson has overran his stall.
Peterson, oh, they all missed their pit boxes, Justin.
That's going to cost them dearly.
Every single one of the four drivers overshot their pit box, had to back up maybe half an inch, maybe mere 6 inches. And in doing so, they lose ground on a lot of contenders here now. As Carl Burke in the smoky unique throwback 53 Camaro will lead here at Auto Club to the back straightaway with 30 laps to go.
Carl Burke on much older tires, keep in mind, by 21 laps. Keep in mind that make it very difficult for him to make it fuel-wise towards the end. BJ Tidrick also on a rolling of the dice strategy. Lots of dice being rolled, and the major thing is timing on the racetrack. Anderson amongst those looking to pull off and away in front of Peterson. They have Barnes in between on 6-lap older tires. Cole Raz built up a solid buffer away from majority of the drivers for the fight.
Carl Burke is the leader now with Tidrick in second. By the way, BJ Tidrick with 2 wins in his career. He won the finale at Las Vegas a couple of years ago, and of course the big controversial win at Darlington whenever that was a race we'll never forget back in 2020 during the COVID pandemic. But basically right now Garber is on the racetrack. You see him in 13th. All this happening behind him is of course Paulison and Johnson. This is for 14th and 15th on the racetrack. This is the best battle as we await some more cars to come down to the pit lane. But right now, Carl Burke, Kevin Smith, Tidrick, they're right there with each other. The cavalry goes back into turn number 1 and 2.
Kevin Smith wraps the bottom, zips around the bottom. Kevin Smith, the new race leader, looking to hope to maintain his track position. The distance between him and Cole Raz, 4 seconds. Jeff Stab now the next driver in line to look to take advantage. Older tires of Carl Burke. He ducks low. He passes low. Tries to bring BJ Tidrick with him.
Yeah, all this happening now as the field working their way back off of turn number 4 to the start-finish line. Look at Tidrick. He'll drift up under the back end of the Camaro of Burke's car. And now Tidrick, the Miller High Life Ford, looking to the inside. Makes a move on Burke for P2. By the way, Jeff Stab now has moved up to second with under 30 laps to go here at Auto Club.
Fight for third spot. Looking to keep it up inside. Tidrick on much fresher rubber. Gonna wrap around Burke. Burke gives some space. Burke 2 car lengths worth of space. Dan West Jr. looks to zip and blow on by though. He zips by 1, looks to pass a second.
And these are the drivers that have got the new fresher tires, and the faster traffic is coming. And that's what you're seeing Dan West Jr. do, passing all these cars like they're sitting ducks. Ron Hunter now making a move on Tidrick and Burke. They're not pitted yet. I think that will make them finally decide, hey, we do need to pit now. 25 laps to go. This time, Bob, they come to the start-finish line. There goes Anderson. Anderson now trying to get by Barnes. He's trying to run down Raz. This going on for position into turn number 3.
Anderson again inside. Can't build up the speed yet on Barnes. Much fresher tires, though. Good spot to try and make this move. Dan West Jr. is in a great position to try and win the race, though, we'll say, with a 3.5 second buffer, 2.5 second buffer, should say, over battles such as this one.
We're not at Darlington, we're at Auto Club. Hopefully they'll fix that scoring ticker error with 25 laps to go. It is still Kevin Smith, the leader. Jeff Stabnow in second. There's Dan West Jr. He now is the man in the third position. He is now trying to hold off all these other cars around him, like the 22 of Hunter, a couple of laps down. They've got a pit here as the leaders work off turn number 4. And across turn 4, now Burke's car way off the pace. You knew it was going to happen, Justin, as the faster traffic is starting to run down these slow cars as they cross the line. 24 to go. Here they come to the stretch. The final quarter left to go to the side. Round 1 of the playoffs at Auto Club.
Trying to roll some dice, hoping for the caution, didn't come into play. Now paying the price for it in turn. Meanwhile, the battle for second is on down the back straightaway. Dan West Jr. is around with the fresher rubber around Jeff Stabnow. Dan West Jr. has his eyes set on the next prize, the race lead.
Looking at the race lead, if he can do that, by the way, but also a strong effort by Jeff Stabnow. He is the man right now in the number 3 position, the Billings, Montana native. He has not won a Northwest competition event since 2020. What kind of slump would it be for him if he's able to pull this off and go back to victory lane? All the while, he's on the back straightaway. He still has now Hunter behind him, lap traffic, and Smith and West. Oh, and by the way, as they go to the back straightaway, going to turn number 3, Blake Peterson now makes a move on Tidrick. All of this starting to happen inside the top 10 for 7th and 8th as they come to the start-finish line, as they work their way with 23 to go, now 22 remaining. And Justin, as I was going to say, the positives are Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, their teammates in 2nd and 3rd.
Looking to try and march forward, but for the race lead, Kevin Smith slides nearly to the wall. And West Jr. looking to reel him on in with the fishing hook. Has him hooked along, trying to go in with the line, matching the line of Smith. Now taking that same arc down to a car length between 1st and 2nd.
But there's the leader, the back deck lid of his car, that's Smith. There's Dan West Jr. reeling him in the 55. There's a lap car, Ron Hunter, separating that spot as the battle heats up for the lead as they work off of turn number 2. Here comes Dan West Jr. He'll go to the outside. He'll go to the inside. Peekaboo, Smith, he's after him on 2.
Peeking around with the speed, looking to zip it around, looking to click his way up to the top of the pylon. West Jr. wraps in, sends his way in, clears his way around. Dan West Jr. returns to the race lead at Auto Club, coming to 21 to go.
Coming to 20 laps to go this time by, but they roar to the start-finish line. It's 80 laps in, 20 laps to go. Less than 40 miles remain for this race. The leaders go back off into the corner. All of this action and heating up here. If you want to make your moves, you better make your moves now. Time is running out. It is all Dan West Jr. who is back up in front again as he led earlier in the race, but also Smith has got Stabnow. He's got Raz. He's got Anderson. He's got Peterson. Here comes the click. Ready to go after the beginning of turn number 3. Stabnow hung out to dry as he goes to the top of the racetrack. Off of turn number 4. Nowhere for Stabnow to go. Here comes the fast traffic. Justin, here comes Super Friends. Faster cars, faster tires. Ready to go to try to win here at Auto Club. They're in turn 1.
Looking to line up a start and work together. Need to close up 2.5 seconds to get up to Dan West Jr. They all round the bottom of the racetrack. They're matching lines. Peterson looking the time out of all of them out to the back straightaway. Nearly washes to the wall. Raz trying to be the Pied Piper in them. This is one of the major things, not having the battling. Able to gain up and close up the ground. Working together, united. Try and get up to the blue and white machine of West Jr.
All this happening as the field is battling off of turn number 4. Back to start finish. It is now 18 laps to go in this 100-lap race in the playoffs. Round 1 tonight at Auto Club Speedway. Next week, we're going road course and speedway racing at the Roval in Charlotte. That'll be fun. Meanwhile, it is Raz Anderson and Peterson right there. Super friends back straight away, trying to run down Smith, trying to get after Dan West Jr. What's going to work? Teamwork. They send it to 3.
Up to under 2 seconds now. Still have some lap traffic to deal with. There is a buffer car between them. 00 of Kevin Smith. Ron Hunter in between them currently, starting to pick up heavy steam down the straightaway. 0.3 per lap to close up.
17 laps to go. The leaders work back into turn number 1. This is now Daggett and Harris. Here comes also Tidrick. All this going on for position. What a battle by these drivers, as there is a lap car of Harris, but all this other drivers are on the lead lap, and it's for position between Daggett, Tidrick going after him, and also Garber in that mix as they go to 3.
The way around some of the cars. Harris wrapping the bottom side of the racetrack. We're trying to make his way to the inside of the 99. Peeks his way around near contact down the front.
Across the start line now. There you see the leaders now working off of turn number 2. This is on the back straightaway. Raz is after West.
Looking to line around, getting around Kevin Smith. There's the peak for Anderson, looking to feed draft to Peterson. Smith drops like a lead balloon out of the spot. Now the gap down to under 1.5 seconds. Raz, the Pied Piper for the group.
And we got cars slamming the wall. Kevin Smith in the wall. Ron Hunter in the wall. 15 laps to go. Clean air now between Dan West Jr.'s rear deck lid and the front car, number 10 of Raz in second. The battle is on to the finish and to the checkered flag as they work off turn 2.
Raz starting to build some distance from his friends as he's able to slide forward. Peterson losing ground, starting to lose the right front tire. Down to under 14.5 laps to go. West Jr. trying to close around the bottom with the arc. Trying to wrap fully around Raz. Anderson trying to stay with the number 10 for the lead spots.
Leaders work off of turn number 4. This is on board with the Chevrolet of Lake Peterson. Peterson now hugs the outside lane. He stays in that number 4 position. He's got 3rd and 2nd in front of him, and they're also buddies. When do you make your move? But first, I think you got to stay nose to tail and run down the 55 of Dan West Jr. He's looking, by the way, for Dan West Jr., his 3rd win this year. The 2-time defending Truck Series champion, trying to move on to the next round of the playoffs with a win tonight at Auto Club. He leads them in turn number 3.
Within the draft of the 55, this lead has a chance to reduce in quicker succession. 13 to go. West Jr. trying to break the draft, runs down to the bottom, moves back up top of the yard, coming into 1.
You see Dan West Jr. staying to the bottom of the racetrack. He is losing ground now. Who is coming but the Super Friends? They're faster cars. 3 is better than 1. They're running them down off turn 2.
Still trying to get the snake out is Dan West Jr. starting to work a little bit. Play a little bit of ground, picked up down the back straightaway. Anderson trying to push Raz a little bit. Wrapping towards the edges of the racetrack on the bottom side once again. Down to 0.6, down to under that mark, nearly 0.5 seconds.
So you notice as they work their way across the start-finish line, there is Dan West Jr. He is trying to, like you said, cut the snake, cut the air between the leader and the traffic behind him that is using that faster air to run him down. He's trying to cut that differential, if you will. The leaders are off 2. West is under attack, and here they come, reeling him in like bait on a hook off 2.
West Jr. only goes half a lane down this time to try and break the draft. It's hard send from Raz Anderson and Peterson. West Jr. keeps up his same line. Now it's down to a dogfight. Now within good range for the lead fight.
It is now a 4-car battle for the lead. Cross the start-finish line. 11 laps to go here at Auto Club. Now Dan West Jr. will drift up in front of the machine of the leaders. It's Raz, and they are right there behind him for the lead. Now one car becomes a 4-car battle for the lead and the win off 2.
Trying to size up West Jr. Falls a little bit behind West Jr. West Jr. pokes back up high. Raz takes a later line for the send this time. Still more speed to get there. West Jr. tries to park it on the exit. Raz tries to pull around on the outside. Can't get there to the fender yet.
Working off turn number 4. Back across the start-finish line. Now 90 laps down. 10 laps to go here at Auto Club Speedway. It's Raz down to the inside. Anderson is with him. West by himself on the outside lane. He goes way high out of turn 2.
West Jr. trying to use the banking as a ramp, hoping to use the outside line. Keeps it alongside Anderson. Raz slams the door in West Jr.'s face. West Jr. slams the back end of Raz. Over the back bumper of the 10. Cole Raz seals the deal. Cole Raz to the race lead with under 10 laps to go. Pulls off and away out of 4.
It's not over yet, though, as the field comes to the start-finish line in single digits. Dan West Jr. by himself, somehow, some way, getting a bunch of momentum using the outside lane. He powers back into turn number 1. He has to throw back behind the 9 of Peterson's car, and this 4-car tandem goes again out of 2.
Anderson sliding up hard. Peterson going hard on his charge. Now over the back of bumper of the 37. Pushes Anderson hard. Trying to get up to Raz. Peterson backs out of the bump. Sizes back to the bottom. The Super Friends now trying to decide who gets to be that super driver in victory lane, coming to 8 to go.
8 laps to go now when they come to the stripe, cross the Geico restart zone. And there you see that interval, by the way, that Mason Heimbaugh just showed you from the back straightaway. The difference from the 4th place car, the man of Dan West Jr., to 5th place Briar Reynolds, almost 5 seconds. Time running out here at Auto Club in playoff round number 1. The leader is now Cole Raz on the back straightaway into turn number 3.
No peek around yet for Anderson, taking his time right now to 3 and 4. Difference between them about 0.3 of a second. Still, Raz holds on to the clean air. Peterson looking tight again.
7 laps to go. Battle for first. There you see the interval now. The distance on the bottom right as we showed you that. 7. Look at this, right there within a crosshair of one another. Losing ground, though, is Dan West Jr. off the back straightaway. Single digits left for Cole Raz, but everybody is still in a nice little pack as they go to 3.
Question is, when does Anderson make the move? He's been just sizing up Raz, getting to the bumper a couple times. No major sends yet. Just keeping his pace, patience, and distance up for this lead.
6 laps to go now as they cross the line. It is Raz, Anderson, 7 to go, correction. Raz, Anderson, Peterson, all right there with one another. Now they're starting to break out of the line and shuffle. Here comes now Peterson. He wants to break out of the move on Anderson, and they wreck each other. You see Super Friends? They turn on one another. Anderson into the inside retaining wall, battling with Peterson. They would not be denied as Raz now pulls away, put Dan West Jr. to second with 6 to go at Auto Club. Are you kidding me?
And that could seal the deal for Raz. He's lost his drafting partners, however. Dan West Jr. on older tires, trying to find a way to keep up. A major change of the race's moments and complexions after Peterson trying to get to the back to the outside, accidentally hooks the 37.
I don't know if that was an accident or not. Anderson and Peterson looked like they were fighting for the same piece of real estate. Anderson drove down on the 9 of Peterson. They were not going to back off from one another, and there you see the outcome. And as we mentioned, they might be super friends, but no doubt about it, if it comes down to it, mano a mano, they will battle like that for the win. It's 4 to go now here at Auto Club, and it is Raz now the leader with Dan West Jr. Jr. in second. By the way, Briar Reynolds has now moved up to third.
Kevin Smith crashed down the back straightaway as well. He is demolished in the 0-0 after a run to the grass, slid up into the wall and slammed the back straightaway wall. Kevin Smith out of contention for this race as well. What a change coming down to the final few moments of this race.
But you got to remember, this racetrack is so big with the apron on the back straightaway. When these accidents have happened, they're down below the bottom of the racing groove. It's not came back up on the racetrack. That's why the caution was not displayed for either the wreck with Peterson and Anderson or either with Kevin Smith. 3 laps to go. Now make it 2 to go when they flash across the start-finish line. It is Cole Raz. Now look at this battle with Garber. Stab now. Barnes, they're going at it now in the top 5 as they go to turn number 1 with 3 remaining.
Valuable points on the line as Stab now trying to hold on. Garber trying to peel the points away. Meanwhile, for the race lead, Dan West Jr. has found a second breath. All over the bumper, Raz goes up high. Raz slides up the track, trying to diamond down as West Jr. He sends it back up for the front stretch.
You had to wonder if maybe Dan West Jr. was kind of playing possum, saving some of that equipment for one last charge. It's 2 laps to go. You want to go? You better go now. 4 miles remain at Auto Club. It's Raz, it's West from 5 down to 4, now down to 2 for playoff race number 1 out of turn number 2.
West Jr. trying to pick the right line to try and size up Raz. Lost ground through 1 and 2 with a major checkup. Now bobbling down the straightaway to break the toe. Raz in through 3, choosing the high line. Dan West Jr. chooses the middle line, tries to arc it underneath, burps the throttle as they get ready for the white flag.
Working for the diamond off of turn number 4. He now finds the run to the bottom of the racetrack. Raz is under attack. He'll peel up in front of him. They flash across the flag stand. White flag in the air. The Seer in 1 to go. The gloves are off. Final time at Auto Club in turn number 1.
West Jr. has 1 shot to do this. He tries to lift off, trying to get the better exit. Raz higher on the exit. West Jr. gets back inside the draft. Now along the edge of the wall, down the straightaway, no snake this time. West Jr. looking for the chance on the outside. Raz taking the inside groove. West Jr. trying to force a mistake, not getting one from Raz as they come out of 4.
He got too high as they worked out of turn number 4. He just cannot catch him. Win number 6 of the year goes to the Daytona winner of the season. Cole Raz, the number 2 seed, now becomes possibly number 1 as he takes the checkered flag here tonight at Auto Club and pushes himself into the second round of the playoffs in the round of 8. Second spot's going to go to Dan West Jr. That is 2 playoff drivers. Reynolds outside the playoffs, a solid top 3. The rest of the field includes Garber out of the playoffs. Barnes, Stab now. Run a drive for drivers that needed good runs that are in the playoffs. Those on the outside looking in. And correction, I do apologize. Actually, Garber and Reynolds are both in the playoffs. So a pretty good run tonight for many playoff drivers as they come to the checker flag, Justin.
Cole Raz, though, had some good pace throughout the night. Was able to keep up along that bottom, stay consistently around the bottom of the racetrack all night long. Made it work to his fit. In turn, he'll get a chance to be a super friend in Victory Lane.
Cole Raz will celebrate in Victory Lane. When it's all said and done, he'll pick up his 6th win this year, the driver of the number 10. He will probably move up to the number 1 spot in the playoffs because of the bad luck that happened to Lake Peterson and Caden Anderson. And now let's take a look at what will be the unofficial results here tonight at Auto Club Speedway as the Northwest High Five Salute is ongoing here in a few moments. Cole Raz, winner tonight at Auto Club. Again, Dan West Jr. in second. Good solid point stay, though, for Briar Reynolds. Casey Garber, Brian Barnes, Jeff Stabnow, all drivers that are in the playoffs. Good solid top 10 finishes. Troy Daggett 7th. Caden Anderson 8th, even after his incident there with Lake Peterson. BJ Tidrick 9th, and even Lake Peterson will round out the finish in the top 10.
11th spot tonight going to Brett Johnson, then 12th spot Jaden Ledbetter, Dayton Lowther in 13th from 27th starting spot. Toby Ritters recovers from his troubles under the caution to 14th. Then Malik in 15th. The last driver of the lead lap, Stephen Paulson in 16th. Carl Burke finishes in 17th. Ron Hunter, Chris Kamari, Aaron Cooper, the top 20.
21st will end up being Frank Harris. He led some time in the race earlier, along with Carl Burke. Kevin Smith will finish 22nd, another driver that had a pretty solid race. Then it's going to be Chris White. He up front earlier in the race, but then something happened later on where he fell back. He finishes 23rd. Sean Brightsman, bad luck for him. Never recovered from the bad luck problem after the wreck under yellow with Will Duvall in the first caution. He finishes 24th. Stephen O'Hare, John Audenbacher, William Fletcher, the Catman James Vining, and Will Duvall, Justin Yee, the top 30 starters, the way they finish here tonight for iRacing on LSRTV and CRN Community Radio Network coverage from iRacing at Auto Club Speedway for the Northwest Racing Series Cup cars. Suffice to say, one yellow flag of the race, Justin Prince, but man, this race did not disappoint. What a show.
What a show indeed, and definitely brought out some of the best in competitors. Took a lot of work to set things up right, and in turn, a strong finish. The two best drivers finished 1-2 on the night.
They certainly did. We will get ready for the post-race wrap-up. But first, we are at the top of the hour. We will pause for 10 seconds of radio identification as the checker flag falls at Auto Club Speedway on the Community Radio Network. We grab the word with the top three next.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Flag out over the racetrack here tonight at Auto Club Speedway. When it's all said and done, of course, Koraz will pick up his 5th win this season, first in the playoffs, probably put himself in the #1 spot now for a championship, and he will move on to the round of 8 with this win here tonight at Auto Club. And we welcome you to the finish line post-race wrap-up here at Auto Club Speedway. For those that are watching iRacing on LSRTV and on the Community Radio Network, I'm Wesley Outland. Justin Prince is alongside. Mason Heimbaugh has done a phenomenal job on the production tonight, filling in for Rocket Media and Charles Wooten. We'll now talk to our top 3, and we will get the thoughts first of the driver, Briar Reynolds. I'll tell you what, Briar, what a strong run for you, a podium finish, and being a playoff driver, this has got to give you a lot of momentum looking at a run for a championship.
Yeah, it's big time. Next week got the Roval, and I'm not the best at road course races, so this gives me a little bit of a buffer on some people that had a bad night. So that's going to be really helpful. Had a good car all night, ran up front with everybody, and I slid through my pit stall on that last pit stop, and it just got me disconnected from that front group of teammates I was running with. Otherwise, I would have been probably challenging for the lead up there somewhere. But overall, good night.
Seemed like in turn a racetrack where the best of the best drivers ran their way towards the front. You looked strong throughout the night. What about this racetrack helped make you click in terms of the pace it seemed throughout the evening?
That first run, I decided I was just going to go as hard as I can and see what happens to the right front, and it quickly showed me that this entire race would be about saving that right front tire. So every run after that, you guys probably noticed I'd dropped 3 or 4 spots every restart, and I was easily be able to make them back up towards the end. So we were just in tire conservation mode from the minute the green flag dropped after that first run.
Hey, we'll segue this into thanking your sponsors, Briar Reynolds. But, man, it was a pretty entertaining race to call up in the broadcast booth. What was it like inside the cockpit of the race car with only one yellow flag tonight?
It was a little bit boring for me. I think everything happened in front of me or behind me, all the end drama, if you would. I just kind of, that last run, I just ran by myself most of the way. So it wasn't too bad, just trying to hit my marks and not making mistakes.
All right, man, it's on to the Roval. Before we let you go, thank your sponsors.
Just Jack Daniels, buddy. You got to have a glass every day to keep the COVID away.
There you go. There's the thoughts of one of the playoff drivers heading into the Roval at Charlotte. A good solid podium finish today for the driver, the number 12 of the Chevrolet Camaro of Brian Reynolds. We go now to the driver, of course, the Chevrolet number 55, Dan West Jr. in the LSRTV Searing Sports number 55 machine for West racing out of Shelton, Washington. Dan, your take of this race, it looked like it was so eventful, at least where you were a part of the battle. Man, your take of this race. I mean, this race was definitely entertaining. Only one yellow flag, but you definitely tried to have such a strong car, and it looked like you tried to pull the trigger, if you will. Ran out of time. Car was used up. Your take of finishing second here tonight in this playoff race.
I think this is one of those races that we all look forward to all year long, right? I mean, this was it played out with one caution, come down to tire management. It's a driver's track. It's a blast. So at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to say I'm happy with second, but going, first race of the playoffs, I got to be happy with that. But congrats to Cole.
What could you have done differently in these closing stages? Because you dominated with the most laps early on. What could you have done differently to try and pick up this victory?
I'm not really sure. I tried to take care of my stuff. I knew that Cole and Lake and Caden were coming, and those guys, just grouped up and were smart, and I knew that that's what they would do, and I knew they would come. But I ended up pitting a little bit sooner than them, which helped me get the lead. But I don't know. I don't know what I could have done different. I guess the draft really helped. I felt like my tires weren't that bad, but obviously once those three cars got by me, I was able to tag back to the end of them guys. So, which I wish Lake wouldn't have got into Caden there, or vice versa, whatever happened, just a racing deal. But I wish we all four cars could have battled out towards the end there.
I was just going to literally say, what was your thoughts in the cockpit of seeing, Spaghetti-O and what happened between those guys? I mean, I know we call them super friends, but you and I both know they will race each other to the ends of the earth amongst themselves to decide who wins that race.
Well, yeah, I mean, they all have a lot of respect for each other, and I would hope that that's what they would do. As far as what I've seen, I don't know. I mean, it's a racing deal. You're trying to side draft somebody, and one car could have came down, one car could have came up a little bit. It was just a racing deal.
Well, man, your take of this race, good solid race tonight here at Auto Club for the point, second place, and of course moving into round number 2 at the Roval next week at Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm not that excited about that track either. So I'm glad we get some points out of this one, and we'll go in there and just try to get a decent finish and move on from there.
Hell, buddy, it's on to the next one, man. We'll let you go. Before we do, we'll let you thank your sponsors. Thank you.
Thank you to Effective Web Solutions, LSRTV, Northwest Races Series. All you guys up there in the booth, you're awesome. Love to go back and watch the race again. On to the roll. Thanks, guys.
On to the Roval at Charlotte for the Shelton, Washington driver and the two-time defending Truck Series champion. Hey, by the way, Dan, I do want to segue into that and give your final thought on that, too. You're truck racing for the playoffs on Thursday. Would you take anything from this Cup race to use for the truck race to try to look for that three-peat championship for the race on Thursday night?
Probably not. We haven't even touched our truck setup yet, so I have no idea, but we'll see. After I get in the truck, we'll see if anything, transparent goes over to there. So I don't think so. I think we're talking a totally different animal.
All right. Well, there's the thoughts again of Dan West Jr. And there's that battle for those that are watching on the screen. The battle between Cole Raz and Dan West Jr. in the closing laps to decide the outcome of the winner. He will pick up what will be now his third win this year for the driver of the number 10 out of Lake Oswego, Oregon. 5 wins now, and he has probably just punched himself in to the round of 8. That's a sigh of relief, because no matter what happens at the Roval at Charlotte or Iowa or anywhere else in round number 1, Cole, that's that feeling of knowing you're going to round number 2. And last year you were one of those drivers that just came up short to have a chance to race for a championship. I know you're enjoying this ride. Congratulations on your win tonight at Auto Club. Your take of the race.
Thank you, Wesley. It definitely feels good to be locked in after the first race and to pick up our 6th win and have it be a 6-pack now. So that's pretty cool. Take the race, pretty wild. I feel like a lot of different people were on different strategies as expected. You know, some people wanted to go hard. Others, like our group, wanted to save tires. And we really put ourselves in a good position there at the end with what was going to be the 4 of us. And I know we all had slip-ups in different ways on pit road, and we broke away from Breyer there. But you know, just an unfortunate racing deal with Caden and Lake, just side draft gone wrong, and we've all been guilty of that at some point this year. So we were in a good spot to have a shot at 1, 2, 3, and all in all, I'm just happy to be moving on to the next round.
What became the major difference, Mark, you think, for this race? Because it seemed things changed a little bit in that second run onward in this race. How would you describe the flip of the script, it seemed, in the midway stages of this one?
I think the patience level grew a little more maybe in the second stage. I feel like people learned that first run just how quickly your tires can fall off, and you get saved a little bit by the draft, but you just grow tighter and tighter and tighter throughout a run. But you know, for myself, I feel like the first run, I felt pretty happy with how the tires came out for the wear. And I feel like the second stage, I got shuffled back a little more than I wanted to and used up a little more on the right front. You know, it just comes with it. But I think people just, you know, overall raced pretty good. We only had 1 yellow, and that's awesome for the series and awesome for the fans to see some green flag racing and see strategy be played into it. And yeah, it's crazy how it all cycles out at the end of the night.
When the race ended the way that it did, Cole, what was your take of what Peterson and Anderson did battling each other? And if the shoe was on the foot and you were put in that same predicament, would you would have done what they would have done?
I've already been guilty of it. I did it to Caden at Indiana or Indianapolis, sorry. And it's so hard to judge in these cars. Like the right front is just so blind, and the way these bodies are molded, that it's tough to gauge exactly. And we're not doing these, you know, we don't race these in real life, so it's a totally different kind of perspective inside the car on iRacing. So then you factor in internet, and you got netcode, and you're kind of scared if you want to go all the way close to them, if you're going to have that issue and you netcode and wreck both yourself. But you know, 5 laps to go, you got a side draft, you got to go for the win, and we were in a position where we could battle it out for that. You know, I know Lake didn't mean that intentionally at all. I know end result, Caden didn't finish where he needed to, and neither did Lake. So, you know, I think you just chalk it up, put it behind you, and I know Lake's going to be good at the Roval, Caden's going to be good at Iowa, and wherever we go after that. So I'm really confident in those 3 to punch their way into the next round.
6th win this year for the driver of Cole Raz, of course, out of Lake Oswego, Oregon. Cole, time to thank your sponsors. And, man, shout out to some real things going on in your life. Obviously, you're getting ready for Irwindale this weekend for the Spears SRL Southwest Tour. That looks like it's going to be a pretty wild race. I see the press release over the weekend that they're bringing back the All-Star Showdown at Irwindale Speedway again as well. That's something that's been defunct for about the last 4 or 5 years, so that's pretty cool. That was one of the first endeavors I ever got to travel to California with NASCAR for. And your dad celebrating a birthday today. So today's a pretty good day for the Raz family.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Big happy birthday to my dad. And yeah, we're heading down to Irwindale, California this weekend, getting ready for the All-Star Showdown last week of January. So really excited for that. I've run the last few showdowns there over the years, but really excited for debuting a new Phase 2 Port City chassis. Really looking forward to that. But big thank you to LSRTV, the Master Ranch, Wells Johnson, Whiskey Ridge, Ernest Performance Shocks, We Gotta Go Race Engines, Elevate Race Media, and everybody that helps us out in the real world. And Caden Anderson Racing, Caden Anderson Designs, and we'll move on and we'll go try to survive the Roval.
Yeah, I don't know the whole gist of everything, but I got an email this morning, and we were told that it was possibly going to be on MAV TV for coverage, and I might see you down there at Irwindale as well. So congratulations to you. Good luck in the trucks at Auto Club, and we'll see you next week at the Roval at Charlotte. Actually, you can take off next week because you know you're going to the next round.
I'm going to take a little time off.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. There you go. For Cole Raz, ladies and gentlemen, it will be his 6th win this year. I think I said it was 5th. It is actually win number 6 for the driver of the number 10. Something still glitched on the Dan Lisa, or whatever they call now, Sim Racer Hub ticker that says that Aaron Cooper won the race at Daytona, yet he did not. It was actually Cole Raz who picked up that win, and it was, of course, his fifth win. Now make it 6 wins tonight. Well, Justin, your final take of everything, a wild playoff race here tonight at Auto Club Speedway. By far, I don't think it disappointed at all. One yellow flag. It's not always about the cautions. We've called some races at a wreck fest, but one thing for certain, I thought this was highly entertaining. Sound like everybody enjoyed it. And in closing, Auto Club Speedway, I think, was summed up best by everybody in the top 3. This is a driver's track, Justin Prince. You've got to not only race it that way, but you've got to be mindful of everybody around you, or we'll see things happen like what happened between Anderson and Peterson.
Yep, absolutely. You have to be able to judge that right, and it's just so difficult around a circuit such as this to be able to time it up just right without major contact. But in the end, Cole Raz able to hold off Dan West Jr. Strong performance by Raz. That's going to be strong momentum, I think, for the Super Friends as a whole. The question is, how does the Roval fare out? There's plenty of drivers there are plenty of drivers in the postseason who may struggle on that track.
And by the way, as I mentioned with this win, it'll be win number 6. Cole Raz has moved to the number 1 spot along with his 6 wins, 5 poles, 13 top 5s, and 15 top 10s on the year. He has now got a 3-point stranglehold on Dan West Jr. Lake Peterson, though, finishing outside the top 10, or finishing in the top 10 after the incident between him and Anderson, has a solid top 3 finish. And the points, Brian Reynolds is up along with Kenneth Garber. Listen to this, Justin Prince. Up 6 spots in the playoffs for the driver of Kenneth Garber. He was 11th, and now he is in the top 5. Caden Anderson now 6th. Brian Barnes is 7th, and Jeff Stabnow on the outside looking in of the top 8. Includes drivers like Aaron Cooper, Kevin Smith, Sean Brightsman, and Christopher White. Believe it or not, the defending champion of last year, now one of the drivers of the first 4 that are on the outside looking in. But again, remember, we go to the Roval at Charlotte coming up next week. And again, it's on to Iowa, then Kentucky. Some pretty unique racetracks, some pretty exciting racing, Justin Prince. And it should be a fun battle to determine the rest of the drivers that will advance in the next 3 races to go to the round of 8.
Yeah, I think so as well. And the major thing's going to be how the next race plays out. Sean Brightsman needs to perform well the rest of the postseason. Chris White, having a very tough hill to climb, has had a lot of ups and downs throughout this season. It could go any direction for a couple of the other competitors, but now it's the matter of who's going to be able to step it up with the pressure on the line for a championship.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It should be fun. And by the way, don't forget the trucks are in action here at Auto Club Speedway of Fontana, California, virtual on iRacing this Thursday night for the trucks. Terry Radford, Tim Moore, and myself will be on the broadcast call for that. Justin and I will be back with you next Monday night. We're going to Charlotte. We're going to the Roval. It is a race course and a super speedway, or a speedway at that. The 1.5 miles will be used, 17 turns. Should be a fun time at Charlotte next Monday. We're going to the Roval, and that should be a wild card just as much as Talladega. As always, follow the Northwest Racing Series as well as the playoffs at Northwest Racing Series on Facebook, and of course at LSRTV, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, livesimracing.com, and on the Community Radio Network at wearecrn.com, and it's CRN Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks as always to Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, and of course Mason Heimbaugh tonight is our assistant producer director for Rocket Media and Live Sim Racing. For Justin Prince, I'm Wesley Outland. Congratulations to Cole Raz, winner tonight of round number 1 of the playoffs for the Cup Cars at Auto Club, his 6th win of the year, and he punches himself in next to the round of 8. Be good to one another. Thank you for watching. Replays will be up in a bit. And again, we'll see you